Hi guys, I'm going to do a makeup tutorial today on how to apply mascara. And I have a couple of favorites, but my all-time favorite is what I'm going to focus on today, and maybe I'll do a separate one on some others. I do have some drugstore favorites, the hot pink one. Why can't I think of it? It's not Colossal. Anyway, I'll show you that in another video. So, but for this one, it is the Chanel Inimitable in black. Do people really get mascara in other colors? I don't know. If they do, I don't know it. Okay, and I've got a little mirror down here that I'm going to focus on. The first thing you want to do is use an eyelash curler. This is a Chanel one. Actually, my favorite one is in the other room. It is my Mary Kay one. It does make a difference. You want to get one with a short top to it. So I do like this one. And what I do is just put the eyelash curler on the lid and then push back a little, and look how it just pops the lashes right up. And so then you clamp down and keep your hand very still and steady, because after all your eyelashes are in there. And right now, as you can see, they're going straight up, meaning they've gone from this to bending up. But what I'm fixing to do is bend them back like that, so I'll get more of a curl. So loosen just a little and then kind of turn it towards the actual back of the eyelid like that. Like towards the crease, and let go. And then I'm going to do the other one again. You just put the base top piece on your lid and very lightly touch it, and it brings the lashes up, and then that's when you clamp it down. Again, you keep your hand very, very still. And sometimes you see how I'm bouncing that. I'll apply a little pressure to make sure that I'm not relaxing and forgetting to even do this. So you'd be surprised how many times you're holding this and then you're not really applying any pressure. And again, now I'm going to go a little bit more towards, see how that is? A little more towards my socket, and release and let go. Remember to release before you do that. I do this twice, and if you'll notice, because I think whatever shape that you got the first time you did it, you want to kind of muss that a bit so that you don't have just like this strong bend, but when you do the second time, it bends them again, so maybe a little bit differently. And this is a little shorter, but I do still do both steps where it's straight up and then a little bit more back. And you'll notice I hold this a little longer than some people. They count, 1, 2, 3 seconds, which I think is, I think that's comical, because it doesn't really make much difference. Now, if you already have pretty curly eyelashes, and they stand up pretty good, then I guess that would be enough to just, really think about what's 3 seconds do to anything. It doesn't even make an imprint. So it sure isn't on your eyelashes. So I do for about 15 to 30 seconds, twice, each eye. Okay, now my bangs are going to be in the way a little bit, but we'll do this. Now some people look down to do their mascara. I do right the opposite. I first tip the ends. Why? Because have you ever looked at someone sideways and you'll notice that their mascara is on the base of the lashes, but not on the ends, and you can see the little blonde tips sticking out. So that's what really started me on this. See, I should have had my hair back to do this. Now it's going to go somewhere. And I thought, well, I'll just do this real quick. And so once you have tipped out the lash, then you do start the base. Some people wiggle it through. And you can, because what that does when you do like that, it just kind of goes on either side of the lash a little bit. But I just go through this is a comb wand. See how it's got all little prickles? If you have a spoolie, you may need to do that, but this comb wand definitely combs all the way through. And then I always tip the outer lashes a little more. I will need my mirror for this. A little more, just because I really want them to stand out. And also the inner ones, I kind of notice how I do this. I'm kind of pointing them towards the nose a little, then combing it through so it looks natural, then going straight up in the middle and a little bit more out on the side and all the way out on the edge. Now that's one coat. Now I'm going to, with what's left over, and I do wiggle it on the bottom lash. And what this does, and you don't have to do it fast. Some people do it really fast. To concentrate, I do it kind of slow. But what this does is it lets some of the product off, believe it or not, right at the skin at the base, sometimes too much. like that. But at the base, so that you don't have to do smudge lining, you know, I always use a little powder, the darker shade of my outer corner. I also use under my eye, and it makes it look like a smudge liner. Okay, so this is round one. And I always do both eyes before I do the second coat, and I always do a second coat. Sometimes, if I'm going out for the evening, or I know I'll be sweating, or whatever, it's a long event or something like that, I'll do 3 coats. Okay, so again, I'm tipping the lash. See how I'm tipping it? Look how that makes that lash just come, you really notice it because you're tipping the ends of it. All the way out to the edges, in, and then go back, out. Just tipping them. Some people roll a spoolie brush from the back. I don't want too much on the back because then it gets all over your, you know, you have just curled your eyelashes. It's going to get all over your crease and the hood right here, this skin up here. So I just tip the ends, and that's enough to coat it almost all the way. Like I said, I don't want it all super coated on the back side. Actually, this goes through enough to the back side that, like, when you look down and stuff, it's enough that you really see it. And see how I kind of point the inner lash this way towards the nose. And then the outer lash, again, I'm going to go out, and I tip those ends a little extra. Then, again, I come underneath, and that is when I do the wiggling. And it just kind of blurs the lash line, so you can't really see what's lash and what's powder, you know, the eyeshadow shade. And so it gives you that kind of under eye darkness, if that's what you're looking for. And some people also put a light cream shade color, nude color, on their waterline and then do this underneath to get the eyes to look bigger. This actually does make your eyes look smaller but more sultry, so it just depends. Alright, so now I'm doing my second application, and I'm tipping again a little more lightly because this has started to dry and I don't want it to start looking goopy. Alright, and then immediately comb it back through to get any goops out, any clumps. You want enough extra product on the lash that they look more voluminous, whatever the word is. Voluminous, I think, is a L'Oreal mascara product. And I like it. It just was too crummy for me. It would crumb on my cheeks sometimes. Okay, so do you see how these outer lashes really are picking up from tipping them? And then you can do this underneath, and I tip these little ones in the... Oops, I have a little boo-boo there. As long as you get your boo-boo off right away, you won't need to use a Q-tip and makeup remover, because that's how you get that off. Just use a little Q-tip and get it off. Again, I'm tipping these little ends. You know the one thing you can't do when you have a camera? You can't look directly at it and see what you've done. You always have to eventually look away. So I hope this looks good to you guys. Again, I'm going back, and here I scroll it around instead of do it up and down because that just takes air back down into it, and I just think it sets up more possibility for bacteria in there. So I just scroll it around instead of pump it in and out like that. So again, I'm tipping the ends lighter this time than I did the first time because they have dried a little and you don't want them looking too clumpy. Okay, there's another example of a boo-boo. Never freak out on your boo-boos. Just get it as quick as you can before it dries. And I'm just going to use a tissue to wipe that off. And it will be fine. If it does dry, just use a Q-tip so that you can get, you know, more pinpointed correction space. And makeup remover. For me, it would have to be waterproof, because this is a waterproof product, and that's part of why, if you'll notice, these are drying very, very quickly. And I think because it has more product that causes it to dry. I would guess that would either be, couldn't be alcohol this close to your eye, so I would imagine it's wax. But I don't really know. See? And then again, I'm going to do this shaky thing, make sure my base is covered, and now I'm going to even tip the lower lashes a little bit. just, you know, each little kind of one, you want to kind of make it prominent. Oops, I have a boo-boo. That's okay. It's okay. Don't freak out. And, you know, mascara is the last thing you do. So if you have a couple of boo-boos along the way that you really have to work with it, that's okay. I mean, it's the last thing that you do to your eyes. So this is my mascara, and again, I do use L'Oreal, Maybelline, and CoverGirl Lash Blast type products, or Colossal type products, where they're more about volume, and then I add the length, or the ones, especially the ones that say volume and length, because I do think that the comb brushes really take the product out like this one does, but also do like a really good spoolie brush that has enough space in between that it lets a good bit of product through, but the little spoolie itself is really good about getting clumps out. So anyway, I hope this helps you. If you obviously take this product off, soap and water will take it off. I would never use soap around my eyes, to be honest with you. I would always use a creamy cleanser, a milk cleanser, or cleansing milk, I guess is what they call it, or an eyelash makeup remover. I don't know that I'd ever use soap and water on my face, to be honest with you. I know it always says can be removed with soap and water. I usually do it in the shower because it is a little harder to get off, and I literally just use my nails to rake it off after I've used an eye makeup remover emollient to kind of soften it. And sometimes I don't even need to use my nails. I can just use a tissue. Or I don't ever use a cotton pad or a Q-tip because they're too fuzzy. And then you get little fuzzies all in your eyes. And if you have contacts, it'll drive you crazy. I have enough fuzzies around here with these puppies, who I adore. But anyway, I hope that was helpful to you. This is my favorite part of makeup, is mascara. So I hope you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you again on my next video.